It's day 21 of solving chess puzzle series, and here with our first puzzle of today. H takes g4. So we can because the queen on b7 is covering a to h1 diagonal, and uh, the knight will give check on f3 first. So it starts with knight f3 check. King goes to under discover attack to the queen. So now we'll move the knight and deliver discord check. So we have few options here. So it should first one is knight d4 check. So it will be discovered attack to the king, and we are also attacking the queen on e2. So let's start with that. Because the rook is undeveloped over there, so there is no immediate checkmate on king. So let's start with knight d4 check, f3 blocking the check, and now we'll take the queen on e2 with knight. So knight takes e2, and we have queen and bishop, and the other side is bishop pair and rook. So it's a better end game for this side. Let's move on to the next one. g6, attacking the knight on f5. Okay, but we can now deliver check with knight on h6. So it's knight h6 check. King goes to g7, and now we take now we first take the pawn on f3 with f7 with knight. So knight takes f7, and now the bishop can also join the attack, and at present the knight on f7 is attacking queen. Next one, c3. So it's king and pawn end game. So we can the pawn on d4 is an isolated pawn, and on king is the only defender. So now we can move with our king with tempo. So it's king e4, a4, and now we'll take the pawn. So it's b takes a4, and we have created a passer. Next one, queen takes g3, and threatening checkmate on h2 and g2. But we can first take the pawn on h5 with the rook with check. So it's rook takes f5 check. King moves to g6, and now we enter with queen on f7. So, and it will be checkmate. So it's queen f7 checkmate. Next one, rook b1, and now we enter with rook. So because the pawn on d6 is covering c2 square, c7 square, so we deliver check on back rank. So it's rook h8 check. King has to move the only square available, a7, and now we'll push the pawn d7. Next one, e4. Okay, so the pawn on c6 is covering d d7 and b7 7 square, and after we deliver check on back rank with rook, so rook has to block, and then we'll take the rook, and after king take back the rook, we'll able to promote the pawn. So it's rook. It starts with rook g8 check. Only moves to block check with rook, so it's rook d8, and now we'll take the rook with rook. So rook d takes d8 check. Only move is to take back the rook. So king takes rook, king takes d8, and now we don't push with check, because then king goes to c8 and able to stop the pawn. But we enter with queen king, so it's king b7, and after next two moves we will be able to promote the pawn on c6. Next one. So there are two checks with queen. First, if we consider the check on a1, then king simply escapes. Another check is to deliver check with queen a3. In that case also king moves, and if we further attack the pawn on c2 with bishop, but there is already there are enough defender over there. So it first move consider to be bishop f4. Let's start with bishop f4. No, it's not. So let's start with queen a3 check, queen a1 check, king moves, and now we again, because after king goes to d2, now we'll take the knight with check. So it's queen takes d4 check. Next one.